My Lords, unlike the noble Lord Forsyth and the noble Lady Baroness Noakes, I actually support this bill for LGBT plus people. I think it can be improved, and I hope it will be improved at committee. But I have a rather different take on this. I'm chairman of the Forced Marriage Commission. We've taken evidence across the United Kingdom, and we've discovered family members forced into marriage across a spectrum of society and not limited to non-white communities. And among some families, to have a gay member of the family is unacceptable, contrary to custom and their religion, and in some cases, steps are taken to bring that family member into line, and we have evidence on this. In some communities, it is a matter of family honour, and the errant member, as they see it, brings shame upon the family within their community. And I have to say, in extreme cases, it can lead to injury or death by defying the family and the community and what they see as the family honour. Some families arrange a marriage with a person of the opposite sex, without, of course, consent, and that is a forced marriage. Another method is conversion therapy. A family member is subjected to efforts to require him or her to accept that sexual orientation outside the so-called normal heterosexual relationship is deviant and not acceptable, thereby requiring a change in his/her sexual orientation or suppressing that sexual orientation. Freedom of speech is part of our way of life, subject only to necessary statutory restrictions. Everyone has a right to their beliefs, religious or otherwise, but there is no right to impose one's beliefs upon another person, including one's children. I have to say, my lords, my children have widely differing views, and I dare not tell you about my grandchildren. Answering what the noble Lord Forsyth said, I agree with him about puberty blockers. I don't believe that those should be allowed before the age of 18, but that is a different matter. And it is crucial to distinguish between well-meaning efforts to discuss an issue and where the line is crossed by coercion. There are occasions, especially with teenagers, which the noble Lady Burt referred to, where a person is unsure about his or her sexuality. Discussion should, of course, be able to take place with parents and other responsible adults to explore where that unsure person actually stands. And if a person has real difficulty in coming to terms with his or her sexual orientation, there's absolutely no reason not to seek and or receive health care, including therapy from qualified providers. And that is, of course, not conversion therapy. So if the discussion is open and unpressurised, I cannot see how it could possibly become an offence under the bill. If, however, there is an assumption that it is wrong or a sin to be LGBT+, and the discussion has the intention of coercing that person into a different point of view, that person has gone too far and would rightly, in my view, come within the offence in this bill. Children and young people, as we all know, are particularly vulnerable. I can see nothing wrong with an open discussion on the issue of sexual orientation with a young member of the family. But if it moves to coercive behaviour, that is clearly unacceptable. It's important to recognise that parents naturally have responsibility for their children, and although some might realise it in law until the age of 18, they do not, however, have the right to impose their beliefs or their views on their children. This bill, as I hope it will be amended, would help the LGBT+ people to be protected from unacceptable efforts to make them conform to a heterosexual way of life, which does not conform with their sexual orientation. Yeah.